First and foremost, this is something to keep in mind. Any gal out there that initially talks about how she has her own, that's a red flag. You might want to avoid her, no matter what. All this to really say that the virtuous woman, no, to her, as far as her own, that doesn't exist. It's about us. That's how she looks at it. Not, I have my own. And there are songs out there that talk about these things, like gals having her own, and this is celebrated in a lot of different different social situations. It's celebrated. It's preferred a lot of times too, unfortunately. And so what we're seeing is a sign of a lot of gals just finding ways to just live amongst men, but not with men. Them not knowing what a real man is like, them not knowing what a true encounter with a man should be like. It leads a lot of them to think about how they should be around men to begin with. With the virtuous woman, she knows all these things that could be about herself with society and just given the nature of herself. But she suppresses that. She holds that back in many ways. She avoids that because it's all about peace. Basically, I could argue with this man, I won't. I can be this way with him, but I won't. That's not love. That's not peace. Okay, it's none of that. So she takes on some of that man's logic. It's not to say she tries to be logical. See, there's this thing, fellas. Don't get a woman that's logical. Get a woman that accepts your logic. That's what it's all about. That's where it all comes together. That's where all of this symbiotic stuff starts to take place. That's how. Yeah, you're getting conversations with gals that talk about they want a sapiosexual man. No, she's just trying to have her own logic. That's all that is. She's not trying to take on that man's logic. That's the problem. And that's what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be attached to him as his rib. She would rather be her own self, her own body, her own thing, and have her own choices per se. A lot of them, in many ways, it gets very sick because on one hand, it's this complaint about not having a man, but deep down inside, they don't want to have a man. They just want to have a man, if you will. Like with some of them, it's just a evil game in many ways. So, not to go too much into the dark side, that's not what I want this video to be about. But let's just say that most of the modern day feminine actually prefer manipulation, even though that's something that they deny. Whereas, yeah, the virtuous woman, she knows better. That's not what she's about. She wouldn't want a man being like that with her because it just ultimately becomes a dangerous scenario for her as time goes on to get some guy that is going to be manipulative in that sense. And that's what society is kind of teaching. It's teaching us not to even acknowledge love. Like as far as us coming together for any type of procreation, connection, it's teaching us how to operate more in the realm of hate, not love. So the virtuous woman, she avoids a lot of this. Like for her, it's still about love because it's still about her just fulfilling the purpose of being a woman, which is being a part of a man. See, one doesn't want to hear that. One doesn't want to hear that. There was a time where it's written that, the creator made male and female, right? They were fruitful and multiplied. But see, notice I said male and female. As time went on, it had to become man and woman. See, there was a different type of world that was before the world that we know today. And so the world that we know today, is becoming more like the world of before. It's reverting back to this male female thing versus man woman thing, if that makes sense to y'all. The idea of the way the virtuous woman operates is not from this lower state of what female nature is and what it has become as far as degrading men, using men, being disrespectful to men, betraying men, breaking the hearts of men. As we see, as we hear, as we experience, as we witness, we see all this taking place, unfolding online, offline, you name it. Many personal stories, testimonies, we see it. It's unfortunate. This is what the virtuous woman avoids. She wants to be a man's peace. She doesn't want to be a man's chaos. She wants to be part of that order. She is keeping herself in order to the best of her ability. But see, that's the other thing, guys. Avoid a girl that's always about being chaotic with you. She's not about being symbiotic with you. As a virtuous woman, always strives to be. One can wonder, how does she do it? How does she continue to be peaceful with that man? That's because she actually loves him. In a society where, I guess it seems next to impossible for the feminine to display such qualities. Is it even something that's in a lot of them these days? I'd say that huh, it's becoming less, but that's not to say it doesn't exist. It is becoming less. And it's not to say it's not, and it's not to say that it's this quality of love is not in a lot of the feminine. For a lot of them, it has been conditioned to stay with them and not to be brought forth. A lot of them have been taught over the generations about not loving a man, not being there for a man, not being a man's rib. These are things that have been passed down, taught. Some girls have been exposed to a lot of wickedness, a lot of abuse, whether her mom was acting up or her father was acting up. But she's seen this and now looks at men differently, unfortunately. So we just see this. And so men that actually want to love, finding themselves now unable to love something that doesn't want to be loved. Really, that's what it is. A gal that's not with a man, she really didn't want to be loved by him, no matter how she tries to put it, because you're not with him. So you didn't want to be loved by him. You wanted something else from him. Probably you didn't get that, or maybe you did get it from him. You used him in some ways and moved on and left him in shambles trying to figure out what the world just took place, right? Because sometimes it could be like that. It could be like towards just like this confusion. Like after she left, and he's still trying to figure out what just took place. So that's really it. You just really, fellas, if you're seeing her not really striving to be virtuous, or if she's not a virtuous woman, she's just virtual, really. I mean, there's no reality to her because she's virtual, get it? So she's fake. There you go. She's really, really fake. And you don't need that in your life. And that's the thing. A virtuous woman is real. She ain't fake with you. Just trying to really talk in this way of wanting people not to accept this notion that, yes, this is the way women are and this is what we have to deal with. No, this is not what you have to deal with. I don't care what they say the way women are nowadays. Those are not real women. They're not acting like real women. You just don't accept that. You don't use that as a sense of, well, if this is what I have to do to get with women, then that's it. No, this is not it. You just don't accept that, because a woman that's striving to be virtuous is still old school in the sense of her loving, her peace with you, her intimacy with you. See, a lot of these girls are too sexual to be intimate. That's the other thing. You feel like, hey, you're not really performing right with her. She just forgot about passion and compassion. Keep that in mind. So it ain't something that you're doing wrong. It's just her not really being right, if that makes sense. But that's the thing. Like, all this aspect about female nature we hear out here in these spaces, and I guess this idea that this is the makeup of most gals. Think about it this way. A woman that's virtuous, she's going to be the total opposite of that. Now, I'm not painting you something that doesn't exist. It does exist still, even in the Western society. But to be honest, here's the really, really beautiful thing about all this that I want to tell you. You don't have to look for a woman like that. You can make a woman like that. How? How, Ray? Well, she'll see it as, oh, that's his standards. And if she doesn't fall in line with that, she's got to fall out of line. So that curves a lot of that female nature aspect that we hear online about a lot of these gals and the way they are and what you'll have to deal with. No, simply put, if she's not virtuous, she's not the one for you. If she's not striving to be virtuous, she's not the one for you. You don't have to go through all this notion of accepting her and her female nature, and you got to become a little witty and be all about power. And you no longer can be a nice guy just to get with a gal in order for her to respect you. And you got to have all this security and financial provisions already set up for her to even give you attention. You know what I mean? Or yeah, you can't be like a working man. You got to be like a dealer, if you will, just to have fast money. No, you don't have to do that, man. Simply put, if she just ain't really understanding your way of loving and the fact that you're being loving towards her, she's not the one for you. She's not virtuous at all. She's just wicked. It's that simple. I just want people to see that. I know we're living in a society where things are shifting towards something darker, especially with a lot of this content out here regarding femininity. But as they say, I'm standing on all 10. Still what I've been speaking on for years regarding love. It's never going to change, because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, love does conquer everything. And I mean that. Thanks a million.